All right, would you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry, I was taking you off speakerphone.
All right, we can actually hear you.
Great.
All right, so we'll go ahead and
Right.
we'll go ahead and start today's meeting. Uh, Today is April 13th, 2021. The meeting of the Housing Appeals Board is now in session. I am Christopher Dennis, the chairperson. Also sitting on today's board, I'm going to allow the board members to introduce themselves. They'll go around and just say their name.
Good afternoon.
Board member.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cemental Grayson Roundtree, board member.
I think we have one more. Okay. Thank you so much, board members. I'd like to go around the room now and have everyone introduce themselves, starting with our attorney and then the staff.
I'm Jill Sanchez Myers, counsel for the board.
I'm Anish Sloinis. I'm counsel to the Code Enforcement Division.
Mike Jenkins with Code Enforcement.
Kirk Young with Code Enforcement.
Alyssa Gilliland, secretary to the board.
Maggie Rodriguez, Code Enforcement.
Jessica Fries, Code Enforcement.
Jane Tavon, Code Enforcement.
Much. So I'm going to take an opportunity because this is a remote meeting. I do have to read a overview for this type of meeting. So it's going to be a little lengthy. So just bear with me. I'll start by acknowledging that we are conducting this meeting using a remote electronic platform, and I will ask that ask for your patience today as we proceed. There may be slight delays as we transition between speakers, participants, and the presentation. The Housing Appeals Board is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes and the Charlotte Housing Code. The board conducts hearings of appeals, findings of facts, and orders issued by Code Enforcement, which enforces the Chapter 11 Housing Code. Before we begin to hear the case on today's agenda, I would like to provide some important information on the steps that we are taking to ensure that each party due process rights are protected as we proceed in the remote platform. First, today's meeting will be conducted in accordance to the newly enacted state statutes passed by the North Carolina General Assembly in a session law 2020-3 that allows remote meetings in quasi-judicial hearings during declaration of emergencies. Second, each appellant will be notified that this meeting would be conducted using a remote electronic platform, and each appellant provided written consent to the remote hearing before being placed on today's agenda. Third, notice of this meeting was provided to the appellant via first class and certified mail. Any documents that the appellant wanted to provide to the board were required to be submitted to the board secretary in advance. Those documents will be shared as the hearing proceeds. Finally, any individual wishing to participate in today's hearing was required to register when signing into the remote meeting platform. This record, along with audio recordings of today's hearing, will be kept on file as required by the city's clerk office. Hearing procedures. The order of each hearing will be as follows. All parties who plan to give testimony for or against must be sworn in. Code Enforcement will present their testimony and evidence for the case first. The board may question the staff member, and then the appellant may question the staff member. The appellant then presents their testimony and evidence for the case. The board may question the appellant or request clarification, and then Code Enforcement staff may ask the appellant questions. Following that, the appellant may present other sworn witness who will also be subject to questioning. And then finally, other parties wishing to speak or for or against will be given reasonable time to present sworn testimony. After hearing each party's evidence, the board will review each case and make a decision. This is done in open deliberation. During this portion of the meeting, the parties are not permitted to address the board. However, everyone is permitted to remain present and listen quietly to the board's discussion and vote. All exhibits must remain with the board. Exhibits are required to be provided to the secretary no later than 3 days prior to the hearing in order to be considered at this hearing. If you feel that there's a conflict of interest of any member on the board or an association that would prejudice your case, please let it be known at the start of your case. The board is acting in a quasi-judicial capacity for purposes of this hearing and can only accept sworn testimony. While the board will not specifically exclude hearsay evidence, it is only given limited weight. A written copy of the board decision will be mailed to you via first class and certified mail. If you do not agree with the board's decision, you have the following rights: appeal to the Superior Court of Mecklenburg County within 15 days of the receipt of the decision letter, or appeal to the Superior Court of Mecklenburg County within 15 days of the receipt of the letter and petition the Superior Court for a temporary injunction within 30 days of the receipt of the letter to restrain the code enforcement official from carrying out the order, pending a final disposition of the case. Please remember to mute your microphone when you do not intend to speak. I'm going to turn it over to the board secretary to do the swear-ins.
May I interrupt for a moment? This is Charles Collins.
Hey, Charles, go ahead.
Yes, I beg your grief. I have a dangerous situation here. I have a dump truck that is on I-85, and I have two people that are there, and that's why I'm delayed on this and not prepared on here. And
Okay.
I would like if we could delay this till tomorrow, or I know I'm already late coming on here, but it's I feel it's a danger to leave them on the highway in the situation that they are at right now. And I believe this board is going to take at least an hour. And if I may ask for just continuance on the time.
Well, we definitely understand. I'm going to turn it over to the board secretary. With that, I would like to give the opportunity to continue, but I'll turn it over to our attorney to answer that and the board secretary. Counsel?
Yes, I don't believe that the rules of procedure address the continuance, but the board secretary can certainly jump in if I've overlooked that. If that's the case, then I believe the board could vote to continue the matter, but I suggest hearing from code as well on that.
I would submit that it's not actually a continuation because no evidence has been presented. So it could really just be a postponement. And I don't believe the city has any objection to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Code enforcement has no objection.
Board secretary, with the information that's been provided by the appellant and with counsel, I would like to submit that we postpone today's meeting.
Absolutely, that is no problem. Give me just a second to inform Mr. Collins of our next hearing date. That will be in May. It would be May 11th. So if Mr. Collins, you can go ahead and put that on your calendar. I will send you another notification as we get closer.
I'm on vacation, I think.
All right, May 11. Thank you very much.
I think I already, are there any additional comments or questions? If not, is there any further business we have in board secretary as far as any previous minutes?
We do actually have December's minutes that we need approved. So if we could get a motion on that.
Okay.
Charles Collins is dropping off. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Mr. Collins?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, real quick. As we were sitting here, the inspector and the supervisor have a conflict with May. So it may be June 8th. If you would please also add that to your calendar, that will probably be the day that we will meet.
All right. And I briefly, I saw an email from Maggie this morning, and I can schedule a time for inspection before either the May or the June 8th hearing.
Elizabeth,
We
Alyssa,
should not be we should not be hearing any information about this case
Okay. I understand.
on this meeting. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Or May 11th.
with that said, the secretary drafted minutes for the month of December meeting that were provided you via email. Are there any corrections to the minutes as were distributed? And that's to the board. All right. If there,
I haven't,
go ahead.
I was just saying I have none. It would be negative.
All right. If there's no further corrections or any objections, I would like to take a vote to get a motion to accept the December minutes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that member Roundtree was present at the December hearing. So she would have to abstain on voting or approving the minutes. So we may just need to say we only have 2 remaining members. I'm just addressing this at the next meeting.
I think you are correct. Can we verify? Is that verified on her attendance?
That's correct. I do abstain.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to postpone this the approval of the minutes for December until the following meeting. Board chair. I'm sorry. Board secretary.
That is fine. I will schedule it for May or June, depending on if we have further cases.
All right. With that, if there's not any further business, I will move to go ahead and adjourn today's meeting. Thanks for everybody's time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.